Hello guys, so in this video we are going to be looking at the appendicular skeleton. Now previous video we looked at the axial skeleton. So in this video we are going to be focusing on the appendicular skeleton. Alright, so the appendicular skeleton are those bones that are appended, they are attached to the axial skeleton. Okay, and so they are broadly divided into two. The first division is the girdle. Okay, and the second is the limb. Okay, so we are going to look at the girdle in details now. Now there are two basic types of girdle. We have the pectoral girdle and the pelvic girdle. Okay, so the girdle is divided into two: the pectoral girdle and the pelvic girdle. Now the pectoral girdle is the girdle of the upper arm. All right, so they are found at this position. They form the shoulder. And it is made up of two bones: the clavicle, often known as the collarbone. That's this bone you have here, and then the scapula, often known as the shoulder blade. Okay, so the scapula and the clavicle makes up the pectoral girdle. Okay, so the pectoral girdle is made up of the clavicle, which is the collarbone, and the scapula, which is the shoulder blade. Okay, so let's move over to the pelvic girdle. And the pelvic girdle is made up of three major bones: the ischium, the ilium, and the pubis. Now the pelvic girdle is found at the pelvic region, at the waist region. All right, it comprises of these three bones: the ischium, ilium, and the pubis. They protect the reproductive organs in the human. That's the major function of the pelvic girdle. Okay, so these are the major divisions of the girdle. Okay, so let's move over to the limb now. Let's look at the limb. And the limb majorly is divided into two. Okay, the first division is what we know as the forelimb or upper limb, and the hind limb. Now the forelimb is just our hands, your hands is the forelimbs, while the hind limbs are the legs. Okay, so let's look at the forelimb in details now. So the first bone that forms or makes up the forelimb is known as the humerus. So this bone here at this part, this bone here is known as the humerus. That's the first bone that articulates from the glenoid cavity in the scapula. Okay, this first bone here is known as the humerus. Now after these bones, you have two bones that are in close association here. They are called the radius and ulna. Okay, the radius and ulna are the two bones that are in association immediately after the humerus. Okay, so after that you have the bones at the wrist, and they are referred to as carpals. They are about 9 in number, small stone-like bones that forms the wrist. Okay, they are called the carpals. Okay, so when you move down from the ribs into the palm region, you will find another bone known as the metacarpals. The metacarpals. So moving from the metacarpals, you get into your digits, or you can call them phalanges. Okay, so these are the bones that make up the forelimb. Now let's move over to the hind limb. Now the hind limb, the first bone that make up the hind limbs, that is the legs, is the femur. And the femur we know is the strongest, largest, and the biggest bone in the body. Okay, the femur is the biggest and largest and strongest bone in the body. Okay, so after the femur, we also have two bones that are in association immediately after the femur. Okay, and that is known as the fibia and tibia, and fibula. The tibia and fibula. The tibia and the fibula. Okay, so after the tibia and the fibula, you also have the 9 bones that make up the lower limb. They call them the tarsals. So in the forelimb, it is known as the carpals. In the hind limb, it is known as the tarsals. Okay, now moving down, you have the metatarsals. All right, I hope this is understandable enough. Moving down, you have the metatarsals, just like you have the metacarpals here. You have the metatarsals. All right, so the next bone that follows will be the digits, or you can call them phalanges as well. All right, so these are the bones that make up the limb. Okay, so the appendicular skeleton is made up of the girdle and the limb. We've discussed about the girdle, and this is the limb. Now, this arrangement, if you notice, they are 5 in numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what we know as the pentadactyl plan. The pentadactyl plan. The pentadactyl plan. All vertebrates, humans, rodents, as long as they are vertebrate, they possess this plan. 5 bone segments. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they are called, this plan is known as the pentadactyl plan. All right, so I hope this has been assimilated, and I hope it is very easy to understand. All right, so I'm going to see you in the next class, where we are going to be discussing something else, something more interesting. All right, so if you have not subscribed yet to my channel, please do want to subscribe, share, and follow me on all my social media platforms. And also, if you have any question, please do not fail to engage in the comment section. I'll be at the comment section to attend to all your questions. Okay, thank you, and see you in the next class.